I'd like to welcome in attorney Rachel Fiset, trial attorney and legal analyst. So, Rachel, thank you so much for kind of standing by there. I've been trying to look into our feed here as it comes in because, again, cameras not allowed in that courtroom. But as I said, right now it looks like the jurors did rule with the plaintiff here and against Meta and YouTube. What is your reaction as these verdicts now coming in?
This is historic. This is a monumental verdict that will change how social media continues. I think it will be the start of thousands of trials or perhaps settlements once there is this kind of liability found. I don't think Meta and YouTube will take this to another jury, basically given the same set of facts and circumstances in many instances. This is a monumental verdict. I can't overstate that. The jury is establishing that in many ways, social media is addictive, something that many of us may think, but this jury is finding it, and they had listened to many experts and gone through a lot of evidence to get to this point, and they are finding that it causes harm, and importantly for this jury, Meta and YouTube knew that or should have known that and basically did it anyway. And that's pretty key to the verdict.
All right, so Rachel, you say there that you don't think the companies will take it in front of another jury. So you don't not think there will be an immediate appeal here?
Oh, I think there will be an appeal, absolutely. But for the thousands of cases that are lining up to show the same kind of liability, it is precedent setting here that this jury found that their technology in and of itself, the way it went about, was negligently done. It negligently caused harm, and that YouTube and Meta knew that. So that's a portion that we will not see another case to establish that kind of finding, that kind of negligence. Absolutely, Meta and YouTube will be appealing this verdict, but we don't know what their basis of appeal will be. It is difficult to appeal a jury verdict. Particularly on these kinds of findings, but absolutely, because of the liability and the settlements and the cases that will follow this one, they want to get rid of this as quickly as they can.
All right, and so interesting here, also part of the jury's verdict, that the level of fault here, they're saying that it is Meta 70%, YouTube 30%. So interesting there. My question for you, I mean, what do you think the significance is of back-to-back court losses now for Meta, just in New Mexico, now in California? And do you think that we are now going to see more lawsuits?
I absolutely think we will see more lawsuits. The case in New Mexico was by the Attorney General, and the finding there was against Meta. It was very damning. It was on various types of unfair practices, including some of those that were addressed by this jury verdict. But the Attorney Generals of the various states will bring these types of prosecutions. And that's a very different kind of case because it's a statutory case, whereas these are negligence cases brought on behalf of individuals that were damaged. But again, it's all kind of wound up in the same type of acts. And the states are trying to compensate and punish the acts to their state citizens. So we saw the one in New Mexico yesterday. I think attorney generals will be lining up for similar prosecutions in other states. And I think what we're going to see more of is a lot more settling at this point. I think Meta and YouTube are losing a little bit of their fight here, and it's a novel issue, and it made sense perhaps to take it to two separate juries. But at this point, I think they will change their ways, change their practices, and end up settling a lot of the cases that are in line to follow these.
Okay, so, Rachel, you talked about how we all kind of feel that social media can be addicting in certain cases, can be harmful. We see what this jury has decided. We saw what just happened in New Mexico. What do you think this means for how these companies move forward when it comes to their products?
Well, they can't keep doing the same thing they've been doing. So they will have to put in place the safeguards that would be required for it not to be addictive, for it to basically have a separate effect on children, be more protective of children. A lot of this really does have to do with children and children's use of social media. So I think the boundaries and how they proceed, the technology needs to change. There will be a lot of more safety measures put into place, which will, of course, lose them money because there will be less users for less amounts of time, at least. So this is really going to change in many ways the face of social media, particularly as the interaction with teenagers and children around that.
And again, a jury finding both Meta and YouTube negligent when it comes to intentionally making social media addicting and causing mental health issues for young people. That comes after a young woman sued both companies, and learning today that the jury is awarding her $3 million in damages. Rachel Fiset, thank you so much for that analysis.
Thank you.